the shaman is responsible from an energy cord to every single participant. And so if anybody has a psychic break, or, the Native Americans call it soul loss, a psychic shattering, that is actually the responsibility of the shaman to guide and wield that medicine in a proper way. So when you talked about these ladies that led you, it's clear to me that you had a discernment process around how you could trust them, why you could trust them. How did you do that? I think this is a really, really important point for all of us here that are going to go the path of medicine in any way. Like, how exactly did you do that, where you attuned yourself to know that this was the trusted path, that this shaman, this teacher, this healer was someone that you were willing to surrender to? Because it's a surrender process. When we put ourselves in these situations, we are very malleable. We are very open to the light and to the dark. So how did you do that exactly?
So the spiritual senses, this is when they kick in. And this is why, don't even go into anything like this until you feel like you've evolved enough on your path to be able to open yourself up to something like this. And by the way, one of the biggest benefits of Iboga, it actually takes all of these parasites out. So what's amazing, because it's like the master, masculine medicine, it actually helps people to, get all these roots or hooks out of their system. And so, in that process, before I even, got to know them, the way it happened was, so I had a brother that has been struggling with drugs, alcohol. He's been with mafia his whole life. And I felt so, called to help him, because obviously, this is where I'm at. And I've tried to help him his whole life, but it wasn't, clicking until this one day where, I was looking for him, because I kept on getting dreams that he's dead, like really bad dreams. So then I started searching for him, and he was somewhere in Barcelona. And so I found through some of his another girlfriend, that was saying that he's with some major movers of cocaine from Morocco to Spain, and that he is completely out of his mind and he needs help. And so somehow, by grace of God, I get the contact for one of the literally the drug lords that gets him on the phone. And I call him, and he literally can't even speak. Like he was out, like somewhere else. Now I'm like, bro, do you want to be helped or not? And that was my biggest question. And he said, yes, I want to be helped. That's all I needed to hear. I gave him a plane ticket that same night, and I basically sent him to these ladies because I had this inner feeling, inner calling that they could help him. And also Iboga has been known to help him, right? Now, long story short, this was like a movie. Like literally it could be a movie scene, because he ended up, I get him a hotel at the airport. So it's 2-minute walk, right? So he cannot miss the flight. Well, cops come and knock on his door that he has a court next day, like in the same 24 hours. Then he misses the freaking plane. So while I am teaching a private client, I'm literally teaching them breath work. I'm booking him second flight, whatever the closest one was to him. He gets on the plane, flies there, and then it begins. So they started him with microdoses first, just to start cleansing. They really are gentle with the way they do it. And he goes into a complete panic. Everything everything comes out, right? Like all of his, he was homeless, for days. He was really, really raw, life, right? He was living a very, hard life. And so he thinks that I sent him there to kill him.
It probably felt like that.
It did. He's like, these ladies are trying to kill me. He's literally calling me. He's like, I need to get out of here. Help me. And so, day by day, it happens and happens until the 10th day or so. And then I fly in there with our whole family as a way to support him. But I knew if he doesn't have the first 10 days, there's no one to talk to. So that's what completely pivoted his life from darkness. He literally, it took another probably year to really integrate. And it took a lot of combo before he stopped drinking alcohol and completely, removed, drugs out of his system. But it literally healed him. And so this journey started with me sending him there, not even knowing them. Imagine it was a crazy risk, but it came from knowing. And again, when you know, you don't think. When you think, you don't know. And so these senses are everything to our life. And if we start communicating, using them, strengthening them, then we won't have any questions, because we will know all the answers.
Wow, what an amazing story. I love that story because it's funny. I'm flashing back to maybe 6 months ago, and we had Kelly Brogan here sitting right where you're sitting. And she said, when you think someone else needs therapy, you need therapy. And it's such a paradox, right? When we have the desire to help and it's coming from 100% clean heart, no ego attachment, then maybe you don't need therapy. Maybe you are just trying to help them. But I wonder, like, I know in my life, not to project my stuff on you, in my life, when I've been focused on Carrie or my mom or my brother or my dad, when all I'm focused on is this person treating me a certain way or this person being healed, I'm actually hiding from my own shit. And that's happened quite a bit. And I think it's really beautiful and honestly very courageous that you went to help your brother and then you found it yourself. What came through in the timeline of the bridge of your brother going to do the deep work with Iboga, having his healing, and then you diving deep into Iboga, which allows you to come here and share with tens of thousands of people about the discernment process and trusting the medicine and trusting the healer only if it's pure. Remember what he said, if it's 1 degree off, 1 note off, it can literally send us in a completely demonic direction. So I'm curious, man, what did that bridge look like between your brother being healed and then you having your experience? And share a little bit more about what you learned and what kind of bubbled up, what definitely bubbled up to the surface there.
Yeah, so I saw it as part of my journey through self-transformation. You know, family is our foundation and we incarnated it with our family for a reason. And so I had a lot of past. So I used to really reject my brother. I was not a good person to him growing up. And I left home when I was 15. So I wasn't really with him after that. But that's when also he just went sideways. And so what's interesting is I really wanted to figure out a way how to process through this, right? Because I knew that what he was going through, I was going through on a much milder way as well, because I also have very addictive personality and went into, drugs and went into a lot of alcohol. And, now it's been 3 years since I stopped drinking alcohol. And that, by the way, shifted everything. That's when I opened truly.
I can go the rest of my life without having 1 sip of alcohol.
And I actually wouldn't. Yeah. It's a poison. And it's a poison specifically kept for us here to keep us damned and keep us in this cycle.
Go into that a little bit, please.
Check out some of the videos on this screen that are perfectly curated based on the video you just saw. Make sure you follow me, and I'll see you in the next video.